We are the 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time live Q&A here at the Thrive Like a Viking headquarters, Northern Indiana, Zone 5B 6A, which is also happens to be the Garden Like a Viking headquarters. Yeah. So here we are. Let us see. Let us know where you are and how you're doing. What time is it where you guys are at? You know, it's nighttime for some of you guys, but as we know, it is all actually just the now. So hello, Pam. Good to see you. Deacon MMA, hello, my friend. Says, good morning, Nate, fellow Vikings. I must take my kids to school, day one. But here's a like. Have a blessed day. Thank you very much for the like, and I'm sure you will catch it on the replay. So Brian, hello, my friend. Says, good morning, Nate and everyone. Kenny Green, good morning, Nate. I'm so ready for this. Lead on. All right. Yes, we will get to the meditation here shortly once everyone sort of arrives. Matias, hello. He says, hey, Pam. Hey, Therese. Yes, Pam. Hello, Therese. Hello, my friend. Says hello to all Thrive Like T-Lav. Thrive Like a Viking fans. Excited to be here today for another amazing session. Yes, I love your attitude and outlook, my friend. Definitely. Very, when it's just really good when people burning brightly, can help each other burn brighter. You know what I mean? That kind of energy is very, very conducive to well-being and to thriving. Definitely. This is why one of the primary rules of progressive betterment or thriving is to you have to carefully manicure who you spend your time with and who you invest your energy with. This, I realized, is very important, guys, because one of the laws of the mind is that you adopt the habits of those that you spend the most time around. This is the truth. So you can't be hanging around if you're trying to really make a change in your life. Or if you're trying to just change your frequency or change your thought patterns, the trajectory of your life, whatever you want, it's all possible. It's all totally possible. But you have to you have to be comfortable with leaving behind the people that no longer serve you, the frequency that no longer serves you. This does not mean that, oh, you're better now than anyone, or that, oh, well, I can't hang out with you because you're down there. Not at all. There is nothing like that actually exists. So it's actually just you change frequencies, you shift into something else. And so you have to be comfortable with letting those people go by the wayside. This is I say this often because this is something you will notice in your life as you sort of change your own frequency and things start blossoming in your life. Things start blossoming in your life. And you will notice that people that used to be in your life, it's more work now to try to hang out with them. It's like, oh, okay, well, you got to really try and make an effort to hang out with these people. And when you do, maybe it's just not like it used to be. But that's okay. You have to be comfortable with that because so many people will try to, no, this is the way it's always been. This is what we've always done. So I'm gonna try to, be that person. Even subconsciously, you'll go back into the box and try to be that person that you were back when you guys were hanging out, having all kinds of fun or something like that. You know what I mean? You can apply the situation to your own life. But I'm saying this from absolute personal firsthand experience over the years, that so many people just had to go by the wayside. And I had to get comfortable with that because you will adopt the habits of those you hang around with. So ideally, hang around with high value people and hang around with people that have the skills or the mindset that you want to adopt, because you will, either positive or negative, doesn't matter to the subconscious mind. It will just imprint on it. And so we will talk about the subconscious here a little bit later after the meditation. But this is just very important, guys, because, yes. Okay, Big Brain says, hello, sir. Good morning. Brian says, new doors open. Absolutely, new doors open. Yes. Brother Norb says it definitely means that to them. Yes. It's a negative thing to them. Yes. Therese says, so true, Nate. Your brilliant reflection of life's best. Attitude, vibration, energy. Yes, my friend. And so we can all sort of, and this type of thing, this community here, it doesn't matter. It's online. These are all real people. We're all really here now. And so this is hanging around the people that you want to acquire that type of frequency of what I just said. So this counts in all that. So you surround yourself with videos and live communal things and in-person things as well. All of that matters. And so we will talk about the subconscious here after the meditation to get a sort of a firm grasp on this. 4 Points Homestead says, so true. I discovered this a while back. Oh, yes. And PA says 3 years ago, visiting Belgium and visiting friends, I was like, we're done. We're not on the same frequency anymore. Right. And that is something that definitely happens. However, I do want to, and not saying that you've done this, PA, but I myself had done this at first, was that I thought that the change in frequency was because I've become better, as if there's like a scale, but that's the thinking of the ego. There's actually not a scale of better or worse. It's all just is. It's just a change in frequency. And yes, we can say it's better. I mean, but we can't deep down believe that, because there is no scale. There's no hierarchy in that. It's all just the one energy. And so, but for practical purposes, we can say, yeah, I'm bettering my life. So we don't want to we have to be vigilant. We have to watch our mind and be sure that we're not getting caught in that trap of thinking, well, now that I am meditating and now that I am unlocking these powers of my own mind and subconscious, I don't have, I'm just better than. So that is that's what's up. Cheater says, how do you live stream and don't have 1,000 people? Yeah, I know. Well, the tribe's growing. It's okay. That's why we had to start this new channel, because now here is only people that really want to be here. You see, we have 25 people watching right now and 20 likes. You know what I mean? So that ratio. And if you think about it, if we were in a room and there was 25 people, that would seem like a lot, really. A big group. And so it doesn't matter. The tribe will grow just by itself, of course. That's almost guaranteed. And so we are just going to see, now there's 25 watching, 22 likes. See, that's a good ratio. But yeah, I see some of these other guys like Pinball, man. He has a live, and this is like 2,500 people watching all at once. And I just don't even understand that. I just don't understand it. Now it's 25 and 25. See, that's a good ratio. Oh, you said, but YouTube makes you have 1,000 before you can go live. I think it's because I have several other channels that have over 1,000. I think that's probably why. Brother Norb says, my wanting to better myself made others think I thought they were below me. Right, which they will think that. The ego will think that. So if they're still trapped in the egoic sense of themselves, then they will see it as a hierarchy like that, for sure. So we are going to begin the meditation here shortly. So, okay, guys. Oh, Rachel, Successful Garden Design. Good to see you here, my friend. And let's see, Cheryl Taylor, who is that? I don't know. Matias says, looking forward for extra information on visioneering. Yes, that is what we will get into after the meditation. It is one of my favorite things and one of the most powerful practices that has radically transformed my life. So sometime, probably in a book form, I can tell you guys, I just, if you guys understood where I have come from in my life, you wouldn't even believe it. The me that you know now, you wouldn't even believe it. And so someday it will come out probably in like a book form, but I had to use all of these tools that I'm giving you guys, or that I'm illustrating. I had to use all of these tools for several years before I could like turn the tides of the ocean. It was like turning a cruise ship, but it's all about consistency. That's the only thing that matters. not actually the amount of effort. All that matters is consistency. And we will talk about this in relation to the subconscious. That's what it's all about. Cheryl, hello. Okay, so you say you're Rachel's friend. Okay, good to see you here. I've had many disappear from my life, which has hurt, especially from family. Yes, oh yes, definitely. It can happen. Okay, guys, we are going to get into the meditative state of mind. Okay, so wherever you are, let us just relax. Let us sit in a comfortable position, preferably with the spine straight. It doesn't matter if you're in a chair, it doesn't matter if you're cross-legged, just have the spine erect. This is important for the flow of energy throughout the body. Let us take a few deep conscious breaths all together. Deeply in, as deep as you can. Hold. And let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in as deep as you can. Hold. Hold. And let it go. Now you just breathe naturally and normally. For this meditation, there is no need to breathe in any particular way. Just allow the body to breathe exactly as it wants to. Feel the body. Notice on the exhalation how the body, it's almost like a sigh of relief. The inhalation and the exhalation just falls out of the body. Breathing in, breathing out. As you breathe in and out, bring your attention to the area at the tip of the nose, the ring around the nostrils, and just feel the sensation of air as it flows into the body and back out of the body. There is no need to think of anything else. You do not need to plan for the future. You do not need to remember the past. You do not need to rehash old arguments with people. None of that matters right now. Just set it on the shelf. You can pick it back up later. Right now, just empty your mind. As you breathe in and out, the mind has a tendency to wander, to different thoughts or different fantasies or images in the mind. Don't get caught in them. You just allow them to be. Watch the thought as it passes through the mind like a cloud passing in the sky. And bring your attention back to the sensation of air as it flows in and out. Many of you will find you cannot go more than 1 or 2 breaths before the mind wanders away, and that is perfectly natural in the beginning. Don't become frustrated with yourself. Always remember, my friend, be patient with yourself. Be gentle. You have spent a lifetime allowing the mind to run the show. But you are bringing it under the reins every time you bring the attention back to the sensation of air as it flows in and out. Many of you, after several weeks of practice at this point, you will notice that your mind is becoming sharper and clearer, and your ability to sit with the breath is increasing. And if you consistently practice every day, it will be dramatically increasing, or maybe not. It doesn't matter. But you will begin to notice more subtle things about the breath. Instead of just the sensation of air, notice everything about it. The chest as it expands, the sensation of the clothing on the chest, the feeling of fullness in the lungs, the feeling of relief when the air flows back out of the lungs. You will notice more subtle and subtle energies. If there are noises in the environment, you do not pay them any attention. It doesn't matter if a lawnmower started outside, if there's people talking in the other room, if there's the television on, none of that matters. Just allow it to be. As your practice deepens, it becomes a practice of allowing. Even the sound of my voice, you don't have to try and make sense of anything. The brain will do that automatically. Breathing in, breathing out. We're almost finished with this meditation. So really make a sincere effort to focus only on the breath, nothing else. Focus the mind. Let us together take a few deep conscious breaths as we come back into the world of the senses. Breathing fully in. Hold and release. Breathing fully in. Hold and release. Last one. Breathe in deeply as you can. Hold. Hold. And let it go. Notice within yourself the peace and the stillness. As you open your eyes, notice how all of your attention, not 100% of it, has to be involved in the outside world. You can keep a portion of your attention anchored in the now, in the body, in the sensation of air, in the feeling of the pressure from the chair, the feeling of gravity. Notice how you can feel all of it. As you deepen your practice, you will become aware of much more and more and more subtleties in your life. You will feel more than you ever have, because the you, the commentator in the head, the ego mind, will become silenced. If you practice sincerely, meaning consistently, you will begin to silence the ego mind, and your true self, the one infinite energy, will begin to shine through into everything that you do. You won't have to try. You just have to do it, the practice. Because the peace, the happiness that you feel, if many of you have felt during your meditation a sense of joy, a sense of just felt connectedness, then you have to understand that that is your natural state. That is the you, your natural experience, free of the stuff that you put on top of it, which is all the thoughts and all the ideologies and beliefs and all of the pressures and all of this stuff. But the true self is always there, and it underlies every experience. It underlies, it's the base, it's the space in which all things happen. You are not a point in space. Space is contained within you. So, but we must hydrate. I had to get up for a second if you saw that, because I had to make sure that lawnmower is so loud. I thought he was mowing my lawn, which would be strange, but go ahead. Okay. Wild Bill says, I am here for the positive vibes, my friend. Yes, definitely. It is so wonderful. Big Brain says, Lovely, thanks. I had just eaten breakfast and I could really feel that energy coming on, although I know most say to meditate on an empty stomach. For the most part, yes. That is, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, it's very helpful to meditate on an empty stomach, or mostly empty, because so much, not just blood, but life force energy is required to digest the food. And so it sort of takes it away from the mind. And so it can make you groggy. It can make you sort of less tactile, less feeling of things. But that's not always true. And especially once you deepen your practice, it won't matter at all. It won't matter at all once you really uncover this. But for the most part, yes. That's why I do, now there's a term for it, intermittent fasting, but I only eat like for a few hour window in the evening time. But boy, I eat a lot when that time comes. But all morning long, up until the afternoon, totally empty. And I love the sensation. I love the feeling of being just empty and alert. Yes, it is like the difference. Think of a lion. Think of a lion. When a lion's all full after it just ate, it just wants to sleep and yawning, tired. But the hungry lion, his senses are sharp, and his senses are heightened, and he's on the prowl. Yes, this is the mentality, the energy that you harness when you're fasting. It's wonderful. Ms. T says, I want this feeling always, so serene. I know this has to be my natural state, minus the distractions. Yes, my friend, that is the truth. And if that is not yet your experience, it's all right. Don't worry. Just do the practice. Just stay consistent. That's all that matters. And the magic, what seems like magic, will work itself out. And you will notice, but you have to notice these things, which is important. That you want to notice the things that are happening in your life, deepening from your practice. And so that would be the ability to maintain a single train of thought much longer. This is so important, especially in the modern society where our mind is fractured. I mean, they want us, in this term, they is just anyone that draws a paycheck by manipulating your opinion, which is a lot of people, my friends. So they want your attention fractured because you're easily manipulated at that point. You can't work out things to their logical conclusion. You can't. You just have to you're like an incomplete thought process. The TikToker people and all that kind of stuff. Man, where I don't even really know where we are. It's hard telling what the results of this is going to be in the next 10, 20 years. I mean, as a society, we've never experienced anything like this. When I was traveling in like India and Thailand, I lived in Thailand for some time, traveled through Vietnam and Cambodia, lived in Greece for 2 seasons, Nepal, been all around. And I spent a lot of time with these villagers. And in particular, in Morocco, I spent 3 months living in Sidi Toual, a small village in Morocco. And that experience, along with so many of the other village experiences, showed me what the human's natural state is more like. Because especially the one in Morocco, this was like a National Geographic type village, and these kids and the people in general, they had these long attention spans. Yeah, they could do one thing like indefinitely, and they were just focused. They were present. They weren't fidgeting around, and the kids would just sit there, squat in the villager squat and watching me. Just no matter what I was doing, they were just watching, just thinking, just mind blown away by this person who looks radically different from the rest of them. And so these kids had these, and you could talk to them, not like we're talking, not with English words, but you could communicate with them for all day. And they had these wonderfully just different attention spans. And then I come back to America, and it's the kids are all, everyone's like that, tiny little attention spans because this has been done progressively to us, my friends. This is not our natural state, that kind of thing. So step one to take the reins is to practice the meditation. And so I have presented for you on this channel the only real meditation that you're going to need, because there's so many different forms. I've practiced so many different forms of meditation over the years, and all of them sort of lead to where we're going with these types of meditation. Yes. And that, yeah, I'll save that for later. Revolutionary Bliss says fasting is great for all-around health. Absolutely. Fasting is very wonderful. And intermittent fasting, but also prolonged, fasting, like through the Master Cleanse is a very good type of fasting as well. Mel's Variety says, I feel so much better with intermittent fasting. Yes, me too. Me too. Now, if I eat breakfast somewhere, like with someone or something, if I'm there, then I'm just like, I just feel more sluggish throughout the day, So it's, I just love the feeling of feeling empty, but then I also love the feeling of feeling super full in the evening times. I eat tremendous amounts because you have to get it all in like that one sitting. Cheryl says, starting the Master Cleanse when the tea arrives. I'm dreading and looking forward to starting at the same time. My friend, you have nothing to lose except years of built-up toxins. So tons of us on this channel have done the Master Cleanse. It's a wonderful experience. It teaches you so many things about yourself. It can teach you, even if, like on my last Master Cleanse a few months ago, what it really taught me was that my lifestyle is very much on point. Because previously, the Master Cleanse, because I've been doing it for, 20 years, 21 years now, off and on and stuff. So when I first started doing them, I was living a very toxic lifestyle. And I would do it because I had to. My body was telling me, man, you got to get cleansed. You got to because you're destroying your body. And so I would do the Master Cleanse, and it would I would have all these side effects, and I would just headaches for days, and then I would have, the stuff I was eliminating was disgusting, and it was just really, and then the feeling of clarity that I got through it was like an epiphany because I was so not clear otherwise and stuff. And so this last Master Cleanse showed me, okay, well, I didn't really feel much different. It was a good colon cleanse though, for sure. But my lifestyle and my practices are so on point that I now always feel this clear and this clean and this here, if that makes sense. So Ms. T says, oh, trust me, I know who the they is. Shaking my head. Oh yeah, you knew. The will to learn and adapt. This is everything. The will to learn and adapt is so important. When PM, hello, my friend. Jamie says, I notice that I am much happier now. Dealing with people at work that used to be hard for me to deal with are no longer an issue. This is wonderful and common side effect, definitely, because you can just watch it. You can just watch as you become the observer. This is what the practice is doing. But I can't, it doesn't matter if I tell you this, you have to experience this through the practice. So it's the practice is creating the separation. It is fracturing the ego from the true self, or what appears to be the ego. There actually is no ego as a thing. It is just a ghost. But that's, you'll see all of that. And so as you step into your true nature, which is the observer, the awareness, the presence that is everywhere all the time, then you will have the ability to observe anything that is happening, even your own emotions and all of it. You can observe. You can just observe. Everything is happening for you. It is not, it's an effortless flow of energy. And let's see. Ms. T says the Master Cleanse rocks. Yes, that's true. It does. Old Town, love feeling from changing my body. Definitely. Brian says, I let the negativity rule my younger life, and now that has fallen away. Working on this has helped change my path and has made me a better person and husband. Thank you for opening the door. Oh, absolutely, my friend. That is what it is all about right there. Definitely. So we will. Introduce some different practices throughout this time. I mean, we'll see. This is we're at the ground floor, but there's so many things that we can do with all of this that all fall under the thrive, because it's all about creating resilience. Resilience is the key, especially in the years to come, because our fragile world system, which we'll talk about the world systems sometimes, but our fragile world system is absolutely unsustainable on every level. And so it's a mathematical certainty that it's going to change dramatically. And so the number one thing is to build resilience. And that's why I started the Garden Like a Viking channel. Build food resilience. Learn how to grow something. Start growing things. Even if you can't grow all your own stuff, you have to understand the principles, the techniques, the concepts. You have to understand where food comes from. But then I began this channel because equally as important is emotional and spiritual resilience. The people, as times, if times get leaner, as many think that they will, then people that with the untrained mind are going to freak out. They're going to be at the mercy of whatever kind of propaganda comes across the airwaves, and they're going to be in a state of fear and panic because they don't know their true self. That's why. But to those that have practiced emotional resilience and have done these things and know the underlying one energy, then they are going to be able to withstand. That's what resilience means. It can take impacts and still it can withstand impacts. Yes. So think of like a skyscraper. It is engineered to be very resilient. It's engineered to take earthquakes, to take hits from things. They're engineered to take all of that stuff and still stand. And this is what we must do. We cannot, emotional and spiritual resiliency through these practices is what it's all about, because otherwise you'll just crumble. You just crumble at the slide. Oh no, what are we going to do? No, with the practices, you take control. You observe. Okay, there is stress happening in the mind. Okay, that is what it is. But I'm not stressed. It's separate from all of it. It's just it's magnificent, guys. So TC says thank you. Yes, my friend. Nick says, I think geoengineering is the current thing we need to detox and protecting ourselves from, and also the yabs, if you've gotten them. Yes, my friend, detoxification is the key, especially at first, while your lifestyle is getting more on point. But then once it does get on point, your life becomes a sort of detoxification in many ways. And the the unimaginable power of the mind will become available to you. And so everything else in the physical plane is going to it's just going to lose its gravity, its importance, because everything comes from the mind. Literally, everything comes from the mind. That's not a figure of speech. And by the mind, I don't mean the brain. I mean, well, we will get deeper into these things in the future, and you can discover them for yourself. But the mind precedes everything else. So when you've done all you can do, stand. Yes, absolutely, my friend. I like that attitude. So the AA Gardening and Clay, way late. Hey, better late than never. So the the topic of today is the just loose topic, is the visioneering with the subconscious mind. Okay, so the thing, if you heard it at the if you heard what I was talking about in the beginning about I used to, you guys wouldn't even recognize me. You would just not even believe what if I just said it right now, like what my life used to be and all of these things. It would just be disbelief. Okay, so but the practices have to be the catalyst, be what changes things. Now, the subconscious mind, most people don't even understand what I mean or what is said when they hear the subconscious mind. They think of some vague Freudian kind of, some psychoanalytical, oh, the subconscious, and it's really complex and stuff. But it's actually not. It's actually the subconscious is what rules your life. The conscious mind is what is the thinking mind, is the mind that thinks and can do mathematical equations and can analyze things and then has opinions and thoughts and things like that. That is only, and science now is even proving this more. That is only 5% of what determines our life. But the rest, the 95%, is the subconscious mind. It is the subconscious mind that is making the rhythm that beats your heart. Yeah? Right now, even though you are not thinking about it, how is your food digesting? How are all of those processes happening? Because the subconscious is got all of that under control. Okay, thankfully the conscious mind is not in charge of digesting the food. You'd be in big trouble, or beating the heart, or even breathing. But breathing is the special one because breathing is the one thing that bridges the gap between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Because on one level, you can do it. We can manipulate our breath and we can hold it and all that. But you can't hold it forever because eventually the subconscious will take over. And even when you're not thinking about it, the subconscious rules your breathing patterns. It rules your breathing patterns. Yes? So the first step is really seeing what is meant by the subconscious mind. Okay? And you have to, it's seeing that I used an analogy in an old video I made when I was first learning about making videos. The subconscious mind is like the mob boss in the back of the room that is calling all the shots. But the conscious mind is like the little guard at the door, the little doorman, the bouncer. That's what the conscious mind is like. And so it's just kind of a little bit of the filter for what gets to the subconscious. But it is the subconscious mind that generates your thoughts. It's the subconscious mind that generates your feelings, your beliefs, your preferences. People think, oh, well, I prefer this over that. Okay, why? Why do you prefer this over that? And then you'll maybe think about it, but the feeling came from the subconscious mind. This is what absolutely determines your experience. And so how many of you know things, okay? How many of you maybe have some habit patterns in your life that you've wanted to change for a long time? I know I did. And for years I tried to change these patterns, but I just couldn't do it. It just didn't work. And even though I wanted it to, and I would hate myself for not changing it and being able to, but still the destructive habit patterns were there. And I just couldn't, it didn't make any sense. So no matter how hard I was trying, but this is because I was not getting to the root of it. I was only bouncing around at the surface. I was not getting to the root and speaking to the subconscious mind. This is everything. And so once I learned how to unlock the power of the subconscious, then my life became my playground. You can do whatever you want. You can manipulate any aspect of your personality. You can manipulate any aspect of your desires, of your preferences, all of that stuff. It's all malleable once you start speaking the language of the subconscious. And once you truly uncover your own subconscious, then you will see in other people the workings. And so many times, and this, now that I literally speak the language of the subconscious with myself, when I hear other people talking about things like their life situation or their belief patterns and things, there's like two languages going on. There's the conscious, words and all of that, but then there's the subconscious speak that is happening at the same time, and that's what I hear. And that's what I'm honed in on with people. So even though they're saying certain things, I can see much deeper patterns and all of that with the subconscious because I speak that language now with myself. you understand? But only once that happened was I able to do that, because otherwise it's like, uh, it just doesn't make it. It's the missing link between all of this. How many of you know the people that have been wanting to lose weight for years and years, or wanted to stop drinking for years and years and years, but nothing ever happens? Or the people that want to, okay, I'm going to get out of this situation. I'm going to leave this abusive relationship. I'm going to leave it, but nothing ever happens. Okay, despite they constantly talking about it, but nothing happens. It's because they have not gone to the depth. They are not working with the laws of the mind. And so we will get deeper into this here in a moment. So the Old Town says, I bet that put a smile on your back on you. Oh, yes, definitely. Jerry Bates, feeding my mind while picking tomatoes. Thanks for your efforts. Yes, my friend, I am so happy that it is abundant there. Definitely. Send me some pictures, my friend. Big Brain says, absolutely. Most of our stories about ourselves are post hoc rationalizations for what our subconscious has already decided. Definitely. This is the case. The subconscious has already decided it, and then the conscious mind tries to work out the why and all of that. But it's like this, guys. You have, okay, so let us move into how do we begin to work with the subconscious mind? How do we discover any of these things in ourself? Well, it's first you have to view it in the right lens. So in your waking experience, there exists, think about it like this. There exists a recorder of every single thing that you have ever done or seen or heard or felt or experienced in any way. Okay? There is this is what the subconscious does. It records everything, every thought you've ever had. It's a permanent record, and it's written in stone. It's written in stone. The subconscious takes it all and it records it. Okay? And this is why we have a subconscious mind. Listen, this is very important. The reason we have the subconscious mind is a survival mechanism from eons ago, where we have to understand that the tiger equals danger. We have to understand that this warring, that these weapons that we're seeing from this tribe equals danger, and we have to not think about it. We have to just immediately react to it. We have to immediately respond to these things. And so we have within us this permanent record of everything that has ever happened. And it is from this permanent record that your preferences and your beliefs and your perceptions are created. They are generated from this permanent record. So it is the conscious mind that remembers things and forgets things and thinks that it's forgetful and thinks that it has a short-term and a long-term memory and all that kind of stuff. That's all the little 5% conscious mind. But the subconscious never ever forgets anything, because it's all written in stone forever. And so when you learn to tap into this, you are harnessing the unimaginable power of the subconscious mind, because all of that record will give you things like gut feelings. And once you get the conscious mind out of the way, and you can really listen to the subconscious, it tells you everything you need to know, everything, because it has so many more points of data. It has so many more points of reference. This is the key. So, and so let us see here. Oh, Freeberg, good to see you here, my friend. Says, I'm looking forward to getting deeper into your teachings. You are truly a blessing in my life. I'm very glad you are here, my friend. Freebird says, hello, PA. I came in at the start of the meditation. Ursula says, in my life, the post hoc trying to find meaning absorbed years of my attention. I'm seeing that habit now as a testament to my own power, but choosing a new focus. Yes, definitely. And this is how we do it, through the practices. And so the so we have I know PA says, what does hawk mean? I actually don't even know. I think it means after, right? But okay, after the fact. Yeah, that's what it means. So the with our, let's see, where okay, the subconscious mind. So what we are going to do is the key is to begin to work with the subconscious energies, because that is where all of it comes from. It doesn't really matter what your conscious mind is thinking. This is why the practices, the consistency is all that really matters, because there are a couple of ways to communicate directly, to communicate with the subconscious mind. One of these ways, the number one, is, we'll say the first, okay, the first way is through the first 7 years of your life. You exist in a state of the alpha waves, and the alpha and the theta. I forget the exact terms. I used to really be up on all this. I mean, I've read books over all this over all the years and practiced all of these things. It's the theta waves, the alpha waves. It's a brain frequency that that is really easily absorbed. The conscious mind is sort of lulled to sleep, and so the subconscious mind is very open when the brain is in this particular type of frequency. This frequency exists. You pretty much are fully in this state between the years of 0 and 7. You are just absorbing everything. Think of how easily a child can learn a language. It is mind-blowing. If you've ever tried to learn a language now, you're just like, what? I mean, it's the most difficult thing you've ever done, perhaps. But when the kid absorbs it, just absorbs it, just observes, and over time absorbs all of these things, because the brain has that capability. It is functioning in the, I hope I'm saying it right, the alpha waves. It's either alpha or theta, I forget, or maybe delta, I forget. But because the brain is in that frequency, and so it is absorbing things, and you're imprinting right onto the subconscious mind. But then after about 7 years old, give or take, then the brainwave activity changes, and you begin to feel like you are a person. The conscious mind sort of begins. And so it's much more difficult to absorb things after that sort of time period. Up until about 7, you're a wide open blank slate, just absorbing what is happening. This is why it is so important to have a nurturing and positive environment for these young children, 0 to 7. Actually, -1, because the intrauterine experience is also very important. The hormones, the stress hormones that the mother is under, all of this is very important. But and then definitely when they come out of the womb till about 7 years old, they are setting up within themselves habit patterns, belief patterns, perceptions, ways of viewing the world that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. And unless they consciously, meaning with effort, meaning do the practices, unless they consciously do things to alter these habit patterns, their whole life will be run by this set of instructions that they received between the years of 0 and 7. I know this because my life experience between those years was chaotic. We could say that. And so I had to go deep with all of this stuff. I had to go to the core, and I had to understand all of this. And this is why it's so important that we consciously create the environment for these kids from 0 to 7. Okay, but so after that, now these programs will dictate your entire life, okay? In particular, so the programs can be anything. The programs can be, okay, but they're deep, archetypal, fundamental programs, meaning the child thinks, okay, so based upon whatever experiences happen, they can think something like, okay, well, I'm not enough as I am. So as I am, I'm not worthy of love. So therefore I have to do something. And so you will see these are some of the people that get all kinds of plastic surgeries and wear just unrecognizable amounts of makeup and all this kind of stuff because their deep belief pattern is that as I am naturally, I am not worthy because this has been instilled in them during that time. And this is so important. Okay. Likewise, there can be people that grew up in a different environment, and the program that was instilled in them is that as I am, I'm worthy of love because love is unconditional, and you can see it in the way that they live their life, and so and they will carry these habit patterns their whole life, and until they make these things conscious. What is the quote from? Is it a Freud or someone like that? Says until you make the subconscious conscious, it will rule your life, and you will call it fate. Yes, it's this powerful. You will call it fate, but actually, it's the program that is within you, very much like a computer program, very much like one on a cosmically grander scale, of course. So now, this brings us to the visioneering. How can we how can we even begin to reprogram these things? Because we are not in that stage anymore of 0 to 7. Well, the mind also enters that state, the alpha state or the theta state, when it is coming out of sleep or going into sleep, at that transition period between the conscious and when it molds back into all that is, which is sleep. Which, think of that. If we don't have sleep for enough amount of time, we will die. And we're not plugged into anything. It is the conscious going back into the subconscious, the all that is. But that's for a different discussion. So so we can work with it in those times, but that's a little bit more advanced. But the number one way, after the years of 0 to 7, the number one way is repetition. Repetition, repetition. This is the number one way to get to the subconscious when you are an adult. And this is super important because we see this all the way around us now. We see repetition. And you can change these habit patterns and these belief patterns and these systems of viewing the world through repetition. And advertisers know this very well. Repetition is key. You go to places and you'll hear things over and over, and they are getting into the subconscious because that is one way, the most surefire way that you can rewrite your own programs is through repetition. Now, okay, thank you, Ursula. That's a Jung quote. Yes. They don't like what they see in the mirror. Yes, Old Town, this is exactly right. And it comes from these belief patterns. Wen says, I found worth through stargazing. That's beautiful. Brian says, fighting the first 7 to this day. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, Brian says, fighting the first 7 to this day. Meaning that he recognizes that there are some habit patterns in his life that are maybe destructive and that have been implanted in him from that time. Now, what can we do about it? Oh, whoa, wow, this hour has flown by. Whoa. I still got a bunch of stuff I want to say about this. Okay, maybe we'll go a little bit over this time. But so how do we begin to work with this? Let us get to the point of visioneering. Okay, we're going to have to do this in a separate, we'll do this next time, okay? Next time I will walk you through, that's what we'll do. Next time I will walk you through the process of beginning the visioneering. And what is visioneering? It is creating the vision in your mind. And then through the practice that I will describe to you guys, you will imprint this new vision into the subconscious mind. And at first, it will seem like work. At first, it will seem kind of ridiculous. At first, it will feel silly, especially if you were like me. I mean, when I was working with these things, I was a mountain man. I was living rough, outlaw type life, very rough. And so all of this seemed ridiculous and frilly, just soft. It just seemed soft, but I did it anyways because there was something deep within me that was like, brother, you've got to change. I mean, dramatically. You've got to change, and you got to do it now because this isn't working. What you're doing isn't working. And so you got to change. Okay. So that is what brought me to that. All right. I would have never otherwise gone to that because it felt so silly, repeating these things, doing this visioneering kind of work. It didn't make any sense. But then after a certain amount of time, I began to see the results. I began to feel the effects of this in my life. And then the belief builds. And once you start to experience the effect in your life, whoa, okay, so there is something to it. And then the belief builds because seeing is believing. And that's when the magic starts to happen, guys. So once you start experiencing it and observing it through the meditations and through the other practices and stuff, then that is when the magic starts to happen because you begin to believe in it. And once you start believing in it, then it starts happening. All right. Rachel, hello, says, good. Looking forward to the guided visioneering. Powerful stuff. Yes, definitely. I kind of, for some reason, want to keep these to like an hour. These ones, maybe. But we will, because that's actually, so how about next week or next session, we will have, we could go into the visioneering right directly after the meditation. That's what we ought to do. Okay, that's what we should do, is that right after the meditation, it'll sort of be a seamless kind of thing. Next week, it'll be maybe 20 minutes of sort of meditation. But that's what we'll do next week, is that we will have the visioneering happening, okay? But what you need to do in the time, in this time in between, is to observe in yourself, where does your thoughts come from? Where do your thoughts come from? You have to go within. So as you're practicing your meditation from daily, a couple times a day for just a few minutes each time, that's adequate. But consistency is everything. Some of these times when your mind is quiet, try to observe and try to see, where did the thought come from? Here's the question, guys. Can you choose your next thought? If you think that your life is under your control, then choose your next thought. And I don't mean say, okay, so the thought that you are having now, not that one. Try to choose your next one. So you can't do it, of course, because to choose your next thought, you would have to leave the now, go into the future, and choose out of a selection of thoughts, and then pull that one and bring it to the now. But you can't, because by the time that a thought appears in your mind, it is already now. It is already happening. Okay? This might seem complex right now, but don't worry about it. Just observe. Say, okay, where are the thoughts coming from? And just observe. This is important. Okay, my friends. So yes, that's what we will have a guided one next week. Definitely. Right. Mark628 says, might be time for 2 live streams a week. Yes. Once we reach 1,000 subs, we will do 2 live streams a week. We can do that. Not a problem. So if you guys want people, if you have people that need this kind of thing in their life, which there's a lot of them, then don't be afraid to recommend them this channel, because we'll be doing this consistently. We will be doing this kind of thing. And there's so many different practices that will come into play. So you can, even if you're not into some of them, like when I say the word cold training, most people's like, oh, no. Well, everything else is fine, but not the cold training, but guys, you got to get in on it, okay? You got to become anti-fragile, and this is important. So it all has to do with thriving. So Brian says, love reading all the comments from everyone. Much peace to all. Yes, my friend. So, all right, guys. Well, we will call it for the day, and I will see you guys next time. And I thank you very much. And Rachel says cold training is awesome, and she's absolutely right. So we will be getting in gently to those topics as they pertain to thriving and awakening and all of this. It's all moving in the same direction, guys. It's all moving in just the direction of feeling good, of experiencing life in a positive flow of experiences, and having healthy interactions with those that you love, freely telling people how much you love them, or freely communicating with people through all of this, not feeling stifled and bottled up, or self-conscious about things. All of that stuff, poof, that all can disappear when you step into your true nature. Yes. Okay, my friends,